Take it away, and I will get out of the way.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Sarah Giametti. I am the founder and head strategist at Pravaro Marketing. Some of you, if you've known me longer than tonight, I was previously IC Marketing. We dissolved that partnership at the end of the year, and so I'm the exact same thing, just a new name, prettier facelift, and all by myself and no longer a partner. Tonight I'm going to, first I'll give you a little background on myself, where I come from, how I got to be where I'm at, including how I ended up in Sonoma County. And then we'll get into a little bit of a social media overview. We'll talk about how you can outline it for small business owners in a week, and the top 5 things you really need to do in order to really get started on social media and have an effective strategy. So my background, I have been in marketing for about 15 years. I got into it completely by accident. I was a secretary at a top 10 mechanical contractor, and I was about 3 months into the job, so I'm still on probation. The president of the company, and I was a single mom too. The president of the company stood in front of my desk and said, "Hey, want to take over the employee newsletter? Kind of need the paycheck, so sure." I had never done a lick of graphic design at this point. I was in school to be an engineer, which eventually turned into a business degree, because I fell into marketing graphic design and found that I actually loved it. I was the marketing department for this mechanical contractor until I met my wonderful husband, and I moved up here in 2007, and I worked in-house for a medical group. At the same time, though, I was freelancing. So I had a kind of a company on the side for the variety, because I found working in-house, for me, got very dull very fast, because you run out of ideas when you only have one company sometimes. And I always ended up being the only marketing person, or me and one other person. So when you don't have that collaborative space, because obviously WIMP didn't exist back then, it's really hard to come up with new ideas. I work a lot with small businesses. I really like to champion for the little guy. This comes a little bit from my history. I am a middle child. I also grew up with 2 other families. So there are 4 kids in my family, 5 in the family next door, and the mom still lives next door to my mom. And 2 houses down from that, the family still lives there. There were 4 more kids, and I was dead center of these 13 kids. And it was like one big happy family. So you kind of get lost. And then when you add in, you're an introvert, so I'm not loud, not standing up, I'm just going to kind of hide in the corner. You get overlooked, and you really don't have someone to champion for you, because there's so many kids, and there's a lot going on. And so that's kind of what I carry into my business. I really love the small businesses. I really, really love, because the internet levels the playing field. A mom and pop shop that has 2 employees can look as big as a company that has 100 very easily online, and it's very affordable. I've done traditional marketing in the past, and I don't touch it these days because the people I work with just don't have the budget for it. One newspaper ad will suck up 3 months worth of marketing budget, whereas you can do a lot and get a lot of reach online. So that's really how I got into what I'm doing, kind of the clientele that I work with. So now we'll jump right into the social media. How many of you are actively on social media for your business and actively posting more than a couple times a month? Good, good. So we'll start with why. Why social media? And the next slide, I think I've got some stats. What would be your return on investment? And what do you gain by being on social media? The primary focus, when social media started, a lot of businesses jumped on, they thought, sell, sell, sell. I'm going to make millions by being on social media. And then they didn't sell anything within 30 days, and so they decided not to do it anymore, or it doesn't work. Social media is an extension of real life. So if you are standing in a storefront and you had customers come in, you are not going to stand there in front of them and go, "Hey, you really should buy this shirt. It's great. It's 10% off. You should buy this." That's not the conversation that you're going to have with people. And so you have to carry that over onto online. You have to treat it like, instead of having to spend your time one-to-one, it gives you an opportunity to one-to-many, but you still have to have the approach of talking to people in real life. If you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, please don't ever say it online. So it's for showcasing your brand, getting brand recognition. It takes anywhere from 7 to 20 touches for somebody to recognize your logo or your brand. So it's a great place for getting that out there, because every post you do, if your logo is your profile photo, your logo gets seen attached to every single post that you do. So you get brand recognition. Reputation management. I was chatting with with someone earlier that people are going to talk about you whether you're there or not. Positive, negative, they're having the conversation. So why, as a business owner, would you stick your head in the sand and go, well, if I'm not on there, they can't talk about negative about me? It's happening anyway. So by being online and being active and watching for it, having tools to pay attention, you can really, you can jump on it. If something negative happens, you can jump on it before it explodes on you. And by jumping on it and being professional, WIMP is a classic example, or not WIMP, sorry, Yelp. Yelp is a classic example of you can respond. So if there's a negative review on there, you can publicly and privately respond, and you can fix it. You can be a professional business owner. And obviously, don't get into, what was that, Amy's Kitchen? Don't ever do that. Where they were arguing with their customers. Everybody sees that. But you can get on there and be professional and say, I'm so sorry that XYZ happened to you. Let me fix it. Please come back in on my dime. Let me take care of this for you. Give us another chance. Because everybody else will see that you really care, that you're paying attention, you apologize for whatever was wrong, whether they're right or not, doesn't matter at all. Yeah, because sadly, even if they're wrong, the customer's always right, especially online. You just apologize for whatever it is, suck it up, and invite them back in for a second chance, and show them what you really offer. Because you might have had an employee having a bad day. Now, there are the people that are just going to rant because they're angry, unhappy people, and that's just reality. But you can still kind of negate it. You can do your best to negate it. You're not going to be able to negate those people. However, everybody else will realize that they're crazy. All of their reviews are terrible. Everything that they post is terrible. The general public is smart, especially now where they know what's going on. They can read between someone who's just crazy and someone who just really had a bad day. Or someone who really had a true bad experience. It also gives you an opportunity to establish yourself as an expert. Social media, you really want to do a lot of education on it, and this is where you can set yourself to be an expert in your field. The more you're in front of people, because you're going to have followers who have never done business with you, who don't really know you, and this is an opportunity for you to teach them why they should hire you when they're ready to buy your services. You can also listen to customers. How many of you had tweeted or Facebooked a major corporation about a customer service problem because they couldn't solve it online? How many of them have answered you? So I've had, Comcast answers on Twitter. Verizon doesn't answer anybody. Greyhound, which is a whole other story with my daughter, they respond on Facebook, not on Twitter. But 70% of brands don't respond at all on social media. That's huge. How can you be on there and just totally ignore your community? And it's an opportunity for you to really look good, because it may just be they have a question, and it might be they're thinking between you and your competitor, and they might have a question that if you answer it, you're going to get the business. But if you're totally silent on there and your competitor is on there and they answer the question, then they're going to get the business. I mean, I can't believe how many companies don't pay attention and don't respond to people. Reinforce loyalty. It's an opportunity to promote yourself or have your customers help promote you. It's also an opportunity to stay in front of them so that you bring them back in, especially for some of us who are in a business where our customers may not be with us every single month, month in, month out. It's an opportunity for, if you haven't worked with them for a few months, face for maybe not an everyday basis, but on a regular basis, that if they need your services again 3, 4, 6 months down the road, you've been in front of them, that you're top of mind. So you can reinforce the loyalty factor and bring them back in when they're ready to buy again. It also can increase traffic to your website. If you're blogging, if you're creating videos and you're posting on your website, the 10% that we'll talk about later that you do on promotions, you can drive traffic to your website and bring them in for a variety of reasons. To sign up for a newsletter, so then you got them on your email list, to offer a special for the month. So it does drive traffic, but notice how I put that last? Because selling is not the #1 priority for social media. It's building the community and building your reputation. So some quick social media facts that go back to the why be on social media. These are the total percent of internet users worldwide. 72% are on at least one social media platform every single month. And then in the age groups, if your target market's 18 to 29, 89% of them are using social media probably every day. And then even the 30 to 49 crowd. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg's in his 30s now. 72%. But what's really astounding is the 50 to 60 crowd, 60% of them are on social media. And my example of, and the 43% of 65 plus, my example on that is my mother, who's 65. She's sitting on Facebook, she's reading content, she's following all of us, and then she picks up the phone and calls me about something she saw that I posted on social media. She's doing it right. I haven't quite gotten her to understand, like, to just respond on there or text me. But they are sitting there. So it's kind of that silent, the sleepers on social media is they're there, they're reading the news, they're watching what's going on. They may not interact in the same way. So there are other ways that you can see who's seeing your posts and who's, if they're clicking on the links and stuff like that. But so, the point of these stats though, is to show that pretty much every age group is on social media. So any client who has told me in the past that, oh, my target market's on social media, yes, they are. And again, surprising, these are the fastest age ranges for the Google Plus is a questionable top 3. That's a whole nother story. They claim 1 billion because you have to have a Google Plus page in order when you have a Gmail. So, yeah, they conveniently made everybody be part of their platform. But Twitter, 55 to 64 is the fastest growing age range on Twitter. Google Plus, 45 to 54, and Facebook, 45 to 54. Because again, Mark Zuckerberg is in his 30s, which we all kind of age. So it's a really fast growing market. The teens are still on Facebook. They're just not as prevalent with the growth because they have new fun toys to play with. So then we get into, I was sitting with a client, a new client the other day, talking about what platform should you be on. And this question I get all the time. Do you need to be on all of them? No, you do not need to be on all of them. If your target market is 45 plus, Instagram probably might not be the place for you to be, just because of who's using it the most. So every business owner, what platforms work best for them is different for every business. It depends on who your target market is, who the age range, gender makes a difference. If your target market is 35 to 55 women who are affluent, Pinterest, hands down. Figure out how to have pictures if you don't have a picture type business. But who your audience is, who your target market really makes a difference. And I also tell clients too, eventually you will be on more than one platform, or you should be, because you have your audiences are on multiple platforms and they cross over. But for business owners who have no idea where to start, pick one. Pick the one you think is the best. Or if you still aren't sure, pick Facebook, because majority of the people are on Facebook. And it's a good way to get in. You've got the ad platform that you can utilize. You can build a following on there, and then you can migrate to another one. Once you get comfortable and you get going in it, and with the strategies that we put in place, then you can pick up a second social media site. Get your feet wet, get going. So take it easy. Don't feel like social media can be very overwhelming. So it's something that you can really just start slow, start small, and get comfortable with it. And don't feel like you have to do all of them, because you're going to do exactly, if you haven't been using your social media, if you try to be on 7 of them at once, you're just gonna go, oh my God, this is too much, and you're not gonna do any of them. And so I'd rather see business owners pick one and do it really, really well, than be broad.
How about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is there. I have it in here of what the stats are. So it all depends on who you're trying to go after. LinkedIn is like 50% plus of college graduates. It obviously is a big job searching tool, but the demographics in there tend to be a little bit on the older side, men. So it really depends on and what your goals are. So about the top 7 top social media platforms, and so 7 can be really overwhelming. I mean, I do this for a living, and 7 can be overwhelming to me sometimes. If I didn't have tools to use these, there's no way I could do it for myself and all of my clients.
What kind of tools are you talking about?
There's software, and I've got it. We'll get to where the tools are, but there's scheduling tools, content curation tools.
So you have a tool that give you just post to one, it goes to all of them?
Yep, almost all of them, but yes. Yep. Instagram, it is against their terms of service to auto-post to Instagram. So I think it's Latergram does actually do it, and they're technically in violation. It's a gray area. So they're then, I'm trying to think who the other one is, that they just remind you to post on Instagram, so you can schedule all out for Instagram, and then just pops up a reminder for you to hit the button for when you want to do it. So that's the one, the outlier, where they really are, you're technically not allowed to, and if you get caught or you have I'm pretty sure it's Latergram, I was just reading it this weekend too, that they have it in their terms of service that you could get banned by Instagram by using their software. That's never a good idea. So with so many, it's kind of this, where do I start? Which leg do I go to? It's just, because there is so many, and each one has their kind of niche about what they're good at. So obviously we'll start with the big one, Facebook. 1.15 billion users, 71% of online adults are on this platform. Can't beat it. So if you don't know where to start here. If you don't think if you're not sure one of the other ones would be a really good one for you, start at Facebook. You've got 35 to 54 is the largest user group. It is 2 generations on that one. It's about a 60-40 female-male split. So it's always, women are always a 10 percentage point higher than men on there, but that's pretty close to even when you come to online. They've got the best ad platform. You can laser focus in to your target market and only target who you want to do and not bother other people. Yes?
Which brings up an interesting point, because I've played around with Facebook advertising. Do you ever teach a class on Facebook advertising?
I haven't, but I'd be happy to. I only touch on the ad platforms here because Instagram now has them, Twitter has the Twitter cards, Pinterest now has them. So ads is a whole nother ball game, but to know that they're there and to teach a class on Facebook advertising probably would be a really good idea, because and it keeps changing, and they just changed it again recently where they've added more options, so you can really even more laser focus onto who your target market is. And the benefit of that is, the interruption marketing versus the online marketing. With the interruption, TV ads, radio ads, they're interrupting what you actually want to do. Watch the TV show, listen to the music. Whereas on Facebook advertising, yes, it is kind of interrupting, but it's built into the feed where it's not blaring in your face, pop up in the way. But it's also, if you do your ad targeting correct, you're not bothering. So if my target market were women, and the ad was totally geared toward, maybe it's high heel shoes, women, and I want women to look at these shoes, the men aren't going to see the ad because they don't care. And so you're not bothering people who wouldn't be interested in what you're doing. So that's where really the beauty is that you're only approaching the people that could potentially, and they still have to opt in. So you're just saying, hey, I'm kind of here, I'd love for you to look at me, but they still have to take the step to click the button, say, I want to like you, I want to look at what you're doing. And they still have to they're giving you permission to interact with them in the future. So it's still the best way to go. Next, Twitter. 550 million users, not anything to sneeze at. It does move at the speed of light. It's 23% of online adults are on here. 18 to 29 is the largest user group. But like I said in the earlier slide, 45 to 54 is the largest growing. So they're using it quicker and quicker. It is predominantly male. It's 60% male and growing. It is viewed a little bit of a predominantly male platform. It moves at the speed of light. I was talking to a client. Their best friend, who doesn't use Twitter at all, she follows 10 people. And on Twitter, we're posting anywhere from 10 to 30 times a day. Because in the course of a 5-minute conversation, if you follow, my personal one, I follow a couple, 200-300 people or something like that. And in a 5-minute conversation, a tweet's gone, long gone. You're never going to find it because 100 tweets have gone through. So in the conversation with my client, her friend pulls up, she follows 10 people. So when you're posting 10 to 30 times a day for a client, she sees client, client, something else, client. And so our client calls up like, well, you're posting way too much, da-da-da. I'm like, no, your friend follows 10 people. The average person on Twitter follows a couple hundred. So when you're following 200 to 300 people, if they're not utilizing, and she wasn't utilizing a list to segment everything, that people in the broad scheme of things, if you're posting 10 to 30 times a day on Twitter, people are not seeing all 10, 20, 30 of them. They're seeing maybe one because they might go on one time. And in Twitter, it's acceptable to post 10 to 30 times a day. If you try that on Facebook, you get blocked. So it's also knowing how the platform works. Facebook would be 1 to 3 times a day. 3 is absolute max per day. 1 to 2 is kind of the sweet spot because on Facebook, it's not chronological. So every time you log in, refresh, Facebook just kind of decides based on your activity what should be in the front feed. So something like I don't even see my own posts sometimes. Whereas on Twitter, it's chronological. So it's just a running ticker. And so things disappear. And so utilizing it is making sure you know how it operates.
Isn't it true that on Facebook, even if somebody has liked your page, they're more likely to see something you post if they have recently engaged with your page?
Yes.
So the more you actually encourage somebody to like something, the more often they're actually going to see things in the future, right?
Correct. You can kind of train your feed. And so your users can train their feed as well. So I see there's a news site that I read a lot of their articles. Just happens I like most of what they're posting. They are all over my news feed, whereas some of the other ones that I haven't interacted with a lot are dropping off. And I might see something pop up 24 hours later, one of their posts when I know they're posting on a regular basis. So your followers can kind of do the same thing. And so that's where you get into like the boosted posts on Facebook, where you can boost a post to your audience, will see it, and then because you know they're going to see it, they're more likely to interact with it, and then it gives you a little bit of an organic boost the next few posts because they've just liked it or shared it or did something with it. And so now you kind of boosted your organic reach right behind it. So yeah, it's how they interact with it. I tell my Rotary Club all the time this, go to the page, share and like stuff so that we're getting the exposure we want because none of them interact with it because they know all the information.
So I post on Facebook 12 times a day.
Way too much.
And so how can I notice that that's wrong? Because I have like 3,000 likes, I have a lot of exposure, I get a lot of forwards or shares. And I also read some other books about this, and not everybody agrees with you.
Everybody has their own opinion. If I followed you and you filled up my feed 12 times on Facebook, I would totally unfollow you. And a lot of people do. We just had dinner with a girlfriend of ours, and I'm going to kind of throw him under the bus. My husband posts to Facebook a lot, and she literally said the words, "I haven't hid you yet. I haven't blocked you yet." Same thing. She's blocked. Well, because a lot of people, you've got to look at on the other side. That the other people, they're on there. They want to see a variety. They don't want to see 12 of the same thing. If they want that, they're going to go over to Twitter. So it's...
See, my sense is that a lot of people like a lot of pages. So you're there maybe with 800 other pages that they like.
There are 1,500 pieces of content that can be put in your newsfeed at any given time.
So if you only post 3 times, it's like Twitter, that you will not be seen.
Just because you're posting 12 times doesn't mean you're going to see it. You'd be better off posting 2 to 3 times and boosting those posts. You'd probably have better reach. You'd have better interaction. And you'd have higher followers organically.
People would be coming back to see
Yeah.
your content.
I agree. I hear you, but I don't see my numbers really fitting into what you say.
Every single page is different,
So-
but
Sorry, can I just add to
Yeah.
that? Because I work with a client that we were having this issue. We started asking, and people were hiding her posts because she was posting like 10 times a day, 12 times a day, and they were still following the page. So her likes weren't going down, but nobody was seeing any of her content. She was posting so much that they just were hiding it. So I'll follow you, that way I remember that I like your page, but I'm not going to see any of your
But
content.
I have like
So I don't know, I'm just saying that
5,000
may be happening.
exposures in the week. So it's not that I don't have any kind of exposures.
yeah, but 12 posts a day, 12 times 7 is what, 96? 96 posts in, thank you, 84. I'm not a math major. But with 5,000 exposures in a week, I post once a day and I get 10,000. It's all in how you do it. You don't. It's not volume on Facebook. It's the strategy behind
It's
it.
the quality, not
Quality.
Yeah, quality and strategy. Yes.
So, when you say boost, you mean share?
No, boosted posts on Facebook are, once you put a post out to Facebook, after you post it, there's a little button on there where you can go boost post. And you can, I throw $5 on things all the time. I do a weekly hangout every Wednesday, and after it's completed, I post it onto Facebook and I throw $5 on it. I do a custom audience and target it to small business owners in Sonoma County. And I get a couple thousand people see it and interact with it and watch the video for $5.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, if somebody unfollows you, is there a way that you can tell that they?
You'll know that you lost a follower. You won't know who it is.
Oh.
So your stats will show whether you went up or down on any given day, or for the week is how they currently have it. So you'll see if you go up or down, but you won't be able to see who it is.
Unless you plus,
I mean, yeah, you can be a data mine nerd, but I'm going to guess that most of us are way too busy for that, except for maybe Robin. Robin might do that.
Monster.
Yes.
Isn't it true that engaging on Twitter is really about provoking conversation or encouraging conversation among other Twitter users? And so I think at one of our other meetups, we were talking about the fact that Twitter conversions to, say, your website or to, say, sales were much less than conversions on Facebook, because at least with Facebook, you have an opportunity to drive a sale, whereas with Twitter, you're just driving an internal conversation in the Twitter universe.
Not necessarily. So you have the advertising on Twitter or Twitter cards. So you can, same thing, you can drive the sale on Twitter with that. But through the conversation is how you drive sales. One of our clients is a beer and whiskey bar in New York. And through conversations in there, somebody had asked the question, can we bring our dog? And it's a dog-friendly bar. And so through that conversation, they're like, oh, great, I didn't even know you guys were there. Didn't know you offered dogs. I'm going to grab my friends and come over on a Friday night. So by participating in the conversations, and it was one of our posts had triggered their question. So by triggering the questions and having the conversations, Twitter really is about having conversations and being part of a community. And it does move fast, and that's where you use things like creating a list of the people you want to interact with the most. You put them all in a list so you just see their stuff. You can retweet their stuff, favorite their stuff, or respond to them saying, hey, thanks for this content, or ask them a question and get the conversation going. There's multiple benefits to that is, one, your people see it, their followers see it because you're having the conversation. So you're getting double exposure by doing that, but you're also participating in the community. That followers who are already in that community, you're participating in it, so you're getting in front of them, and it's that kind of like-minded people. So it's not directly driving the sale, but it is in the roundabout way by what kind of content you put out there.
It's just hard to find the time to do it.
Yep. Yep. I will get to a tool that's great for Twitter.
Okay.
Any other questions on this one? So, Google Plus. I specifically did monthly users on this because they have over 1 billion users. If you have a Gmail address, you have a Google Plus page. So technically there's 1 billion users, but 359 million monthly users. One second. Google, it is great for SEO, search engine optimization, because it is owned by Google, so it is ranked by Google. Kind of their own, same with YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. Who owns them? What's your question?
Technically, I'm not sure if, I think you can have a Gmail without having a Google Plus. If you want a picture for your Gmail, though, you do have to make a Google Plus.
That's good information to have. I hadn't seen it. Most people who are signing up for it, they wouldn't even know how to not have it. So that's why it's just kind of there in the numbers. And they just announced that they might be splitting this up. So it'll be interesting to see how this changes, that they might be splitting this into 2 different platforms. But as of today, the biggest benefit for Google Plus is search engine optimization benefit. And again, of those 359 million users, 45 to 55 is the largest user base. So if you want to be, you can be active. There is an active community on there. People are on there every day. They're posting. They're interacting. But most of my clients is not the right place for them to be, so we use it as part of our SEO strategies. Instagram, all pictures all the time. 150 million users and growing rapidly. 26% of online adults are on there. 18 to 29 is the largest user group, and it's about a 50-50 split male-female. Why this age group, and you've got the college group really on here, why they love it is because although now they're starting to roll out ads, but it's really, really hard to sell, to hard sell on Instagram. There is only one place that you can put a link, and that is in your profile. You can change it 10 times a day if you want to, depending on what you're doing, but you can't put a link as part of the comments on the picture. As part of your original post, you can't, there's no link there. If you added a comment there, you can't put a link there. Instagram just does not allow links in the news feed. And so the younger generation, they really love this because it allows them to be visual and creative without having the sale in there. Ads are rolling out, so that'll change that a little bit, but it still won't be in the everyday posts. And hashtags, is everyone familiar with the room? Anybody not familiar with hashtags? We'll do a brief, okay, so hashtags are the pound sign for those of us that are older, and that's what it used to be called. And then a word or phrase, no spaces. So if you want to do hashtag social media, it'd be social media all one word. It makes things, it's searchable. So you can then go on to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, put hashtag social media, and it brings up a news feed of posts that have it in it. On Instagram, it is, I don't quite go into this or subscribe to this, but they say 15 to 30 hashtags per post is the norm. I say do what is appropriate. If you're posting about a truck, you should not be having hashtags added into there that have to do with boats. But the hashtags, have it, and then also, my opinion is sprinkle it through your content. So whatever description you're putting with the picture that you're posting, hashtag the words so it's still a readable sentence. But a lot of people do just bucket hashtag at the end of what they're doing. Yes.
Oh, I heard about one or two companies that allow you to buy Instagram followers, at least the first.
Never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, ever buy followers. Never, ever. They're fake users. They're useless. That goes for every single platform. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They are fake accounts, fake users. They're not going to interact. They're not going to help you at all. And people are now smart enough, it's not so much a numbers game on social media. It used to be that, well, buy 5,000 so you look like you're important and you've got 10,000 followers. But now that interaction is so important, especially like on Facebook, that you're dead in the water if you're not getting interaction. So they're useless likes. You're better off taking the slow approach and building it organically or on the ones that have ad platforms and utilizing those to build a following of who your target market actually is, because you want to be in front of the people who are eventually going to buy from you. And so if you buy 10,000 likes, you have no idea who's in that 10,000. And on Instagram, it doesn't matter because I've got people, the minute I post something, I posted the other day, I made blueberry scones the other day. And like within 3 seconds, somebody, because they had a hashtag search going on and they're interacting with it. So they're not even following me. It was the hashtag that brought them in. So
Are you
So
saying
focus
that?
on hashtags,
on Instagram, focus on hashtags, not followers. The followers will come organically, just based on what you're posting.
Okay, are you saying when you put hashtags in your post that it makes it searchable so people will, when they search, do they have to search for hashtag and the information?
Yeah. Yep. So that's what they're searching for, is whatever the hashtag you're using.
And when in their search they put hashtag, the name hashtag?
Yeah. No. They just put the pound sign.
Octothorpe.
The technical term, Octothorpe.
And is it, pardon me?
The number sign.
Yeah, they put the
Yeah.
number sign and then whatever. So it would be number sign social media.
Right. What I'm saying is that the people who are searching, they also put the hashtag?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And is that
Yeah.
across platforms?
Yeah. It's the
best.
best. You don't have to on some of them, but it's just the easiest way to make sure you're getting a clean
Started out
search.
with Twitter, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
all the rest of them started using
Okay.
it because people were going onto Facebook and using it, and it just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So they made it work. And
Yeah.
they made it work everywhere.
And it's a really great search tool so you can search by topic.
I see.
If you're trying to, it works really well for content curation, for you trying to interact with other people based on content, so you get exposure. Same with on Instagram. It's a really great search tool. So it is really, really beneficial to use them, especially on Instagram. It is really the bread and butter of Instagram with the pictures. Yes?
Speaking of hashtags, do you use, trying to remember, newsjacking? Do you ever recommend newsjacking?
I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, well, that's where you use, like something in the news. Like,
using a hashtag improperly?
well, not improperly, but something that's
Yeah,
in the news that's
hijacking,
not-
yeah,
that's-
hijacking a
that's not
hashtag.
hard news, but, Justin Bieber gets arrested.
Yeah,
for
I
hijacking
would. My
FCC.
my recommendation would be no, because there have been plenty of larger companies who have taken one that wasn't big news. They took it and they used it inappropriately, inadvertently, without doing the research, and it was a huge negative crap storm for them. One of them was, what was the hashtag for the abused women? Not the dress one. The one, it was, what was the one for the women? And then I got out or something like that. It was, no, it wasn't the red. It was the women who were talking about domestic violence. And it was a hashtag specifically of like, oh, why I stayed. Why I stayed. Hashtag why I stayed. And they were talking about, because some people, domestic violence is a complicated subject. And so there was a hashtag, and I forgot who started it, but it was explaining like why they stayed, what were the reasons behind it, and then when they got out. And a company took it and they used it for like, going to dinner, like why I stayed at dinner. And so it was really inappropriate for what the topic was. So if you're interested in maybe it's a fine line, do your research. Know what that hashtag is being used for, and if you're going to jump in, use it appropriately. So for that one, they could have used it on the domestic violence topic and be respectful of what it's being used for. So that would be my advice: is if you're going to do it, be respectful of the topic behind it, and participate on the side of. So on that particular one, be on the side of I support the women or the victims of domestic violence in some way, so that you're not promoting your own stuff on their hashtag. Any other questions before we? So Instagram is all pictures all the time. You can also create. You don't have to just do pictures you've taken. You can create stuff. So like I had one, I took a picture that I had in the backdrop, put a quote on the top of it, put my logo on it, and posted it up there. So you can create your own pictures. It doesn't have to be all stuff you do on the fly. You want a nice mix on there. Say that again?
Is it interactive? Could you put your face, your front page as a picture and make it interactive?
It's not interactive on the picture, no.
Okay.
It's just a dead picture. It's just a static picture. Thank you. It's not dead. It's static. With the link, the only place you can put it is in your profile, but you can change it on a regular basis. So if you put up a post, and this goes to the 10% promotion, if you put up something advertising a special or a promotion you're running, you can put that link in your profile and lead people to it from there. And so if they're interested, people on Instagram know where it is. You can say, click the link in our profile kind of thing, but you want to do that very sparingly. But that's where you drive the traffic to your website and Instagram, is changing up the link based on what you're doing and what your strategy is.
So how many postings?
This one doesn't matter as much. Facebook really is the main one where you've got to watch how often you do. Everybody else is kind of like free range, because with Instagram, they start following enough and they're using it more with the hashtag searches than reading their feed. So on Instagram, there isn't. I would say keep it within reason. 10 an hour would be ridiculous, but if you were posting kind of on the Twitter side, 1 an hour, one every couple of hours, you can probably get away with it on Instagram as long as it's appropriate for what you're doing. Yes.
Excuse me. How is Instagram monetized? How does it make money? I guess they're bringing ads, but
They're bringing ads.
it's owned by Facebook?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep. Facebook bought them.
They've just been carrying it for a while, and now they're running these ads?
Facebook paid a pretty penny for it. So the original founders of Instagram, that's where and a lot of these tech companies, that's their goal. They build these things up and they work for free, or they've got day jobs to pay the bills, hoping that one of the big brands are going to suck them up and buy them for millions or billions of dollars. And now they're set for life. And so that's exactly what the Instagram users did, or the founders did. Facebook bought them up. So now, Facebook is rolling out. rolling out ads, but they've taken their time with it because they know that it's a different audience, a different atmosphere,
Well,
different.
that's why they bought them.
Yeah.
They lost their younger demographic, so, to Instagram.
Yeah. So, but they had to be, they were good and respectful of trying to figure out how the ads would work into Instagram and not do what they're doing on Facebook. So now ads are rolling out, and Facebook will make even more money. LinkedIn, to answer your question, 255 million users. So it's half the size of Twitter, 28% of online adults, 79% of the users are over the age of 35. And at least 50% of them are college graduates. So again, it goes to knowing your target audience, your target market, who you're trying to be in front of. So if you're in, I don't have gender in here, but I believe it's more male than female. It's skewed more male than female on here.
Buyers of luxury goods?
Say that again?
Buyers of luxury goods?
Because you go with the college graduates. I mean, it's the way it is with demographics. College graduates tend to make more money. Obviously, it's not a hard and fast rule, but they tend to be the higher income bracket. They tend to make more money. They all make over $30,000 a year, and that's where those fresh out of school college graduates are really, they're using this as networking and job tools and job growth.
If they have a job.
Well, they're using it to get one.
Yeah.
And they're using it, even when they get one, they're using it to stay on top and to network, because the first job out of college is most likely not your last job, especially nowadays. So they're really utilizing this for the networking and the career growth.
And for the headhunting.
And for the headhunting.
So what percentage is a premium user? Do you know that?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't look that one up.
Income stream. How important is an income stream? You know that?
I don't. I haven't looked into the companies. I just look into how to use them for my clients. I do have another marketing person who's utilizing this for a marketing platform, because LinkedIn emails have a really, really high open rate, higher than traditional email marketing. So I will be not using LinkedIn if they keep sending me junk mail. Yeah.
Because I'm opening up spam, basically.
What kind of rate did you say again?
I don't have the actual rate. It's something ridiculous, like 70 or 80%. Because of emails are opened. So if you sent an email to somebody through LinkedIn,
I see.
it's like 70 or 80% get opened. That is the flip side, that marketers have discovered this. They're starting to take advantage of it, and so people are not. So it's going to start going down. But as of right now, it's technically a trusted source to get emails, because you have to either be a premium member or connected to somebody to send them a message. So that was kind of their gatekeeper, but there's been some loopholes discovered. They're changing their API pretty soon to kind of negate some of those loopholes. Pinterest. It is not 95% women. It's down to 80. That means 20% of men are on there. So if your target market is men, now might be the time to get on there and kind of sweep your competition under the rug, because they're there. They're kind of the sleeper start, but you can get in and build a following before anybody else does. 250 million users, 28% of all online adults are on there. Like I said, 80% female. So basically 18 to 49, they were an even when I looked up the latest stats. They were like 1 percentage point off between those two. They are predominantly higher income women. So this is the luxury buyers. They are affluent. Their household income is 80 to 150,000 a year plus. They're using Pinterest for a wide variety of things. The most obvious are food, recipes. You have baby things, house, dream house, shopping, attire. But then when you get into the men, you've got the cars, the classic cars, the backpacking, guns. So you can direct all your boards into who your target audience is and do a bunch like that. Yes?
The hashtags work on Pinterest as well. If you're starting to post things.
I'm trying to think last time, because I repinned so much stuff. I don't think I've ever used a hashtag on there either. But videos on there now. So you can pin videos to Pinterest, which is a big deal. Yes.
Question?
Yes.
What is your strategy for finding the best, most appropriate hashtags? Do you use
to use, or what's your strategy for that?
It's doing research, following the industry leaders for the industry you're in, seeing what they're using. There are some tools you can look to see kind of what statistics are for hashtags based on the industry.
What tools do you like to use?
I like to do my own research. I'm nerdy like that. I haven't used one. They change. I haven't used one in a while for it. Yes.
Pinterest does use hashtags.
They do. Thank you. I have never used a hashtag on Pinterest.
I missed that.
He said Pinterest does use hashtags.
They do.
Yeah. So I've never used one to search. I just search for what I want to search for, and that probably plays into it. But they search their descriptions and stuff. But for hashtags, I follow the people that I follow that are in my industry. I try to look at, but also the industry of my clients. So there's a couple different industries that I really like to work with. I research into their stuff, and so I like to look and see what's being used, what's the traffic. I know on Twitter, the hashtags I can, or on Hootsuite, whatever I use, gives me some stats on it. So Pinterest, like I said, is pictures and video. Video is about a year old that you can pin a video to it. And that's a really great way to get video views. So if you're doing educational videos, you not only want to put them on nowadays, you don't want to just put them on YouTube and spread the link. You really want to post them natively to each of the different platforms. With Pinterest, the workaround is I don't think you can pin right out of YouTube. I usually pin them off my blog. Because if I've got a video that I've done, I've got it on my blog for another page on my website, and then I pin the video out of my blog. So if they click through, it drives them traffic back to my website, not to YouTube. Same with the pictures. Every blog article you do, post a picture, pin the picture to a board, make it appropriate so you're driving traffic back to your website. Yes?
So, on your blog, YouTube hosts your video, but you just...
I embed it into a blog post.
Right.
Yeah, and so, it lives on YouTube. I embed it as a blog post on my page, but then I pin it onto Pinterest. So I'm driving traffic to my website, not to YouTube. Yes.
Same question. How do they make money?
They are rolling out ads too. Ads are how they make money. They all start with big brands. Whoever's been really successful organically on there, they start testing out with them. So the big brands like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nike, all the big, they are their testers, the beta test, and then once they dial it in, fine tune it, they start rolling it out through the users. So it'll be the exact same thing. That's how they all make money. Or they get bought. Those are the two options they're working towards. Yes?
Hello.
Yeah, well, that was exciting for a minute. Yeah, yes.
So it's okay to put something on Instagram and then on Pinterest?
Yes. Absolutely. You want to cross-utilize the platforms with your content because you've got different users on each platform, and so you want to put it on the different spaces so you have a better opportunity for exposure and interaction. And then also, if it's all driving back to your website, that's more traffic to your website. Once they get on there, they're most likely going to look at multiple pages, that kind of stuff. But what you don't want to do is auto-post roll through. Yeah. You can connect Facebook to Twitter. And I think mine's still even linked that way, but you really shouldn't have it auto post through the same thing. You want to natively post in each platform so it looks the best.
And
yes.
When you set up the different sites, can you set it up as a business as opposed to an individual?
Yes. Every single one of mine are Pravara Marketing.
Good.
And using my Pravara Marketing email address, and then I've got a personal one on the other side.
Personally, you can be anonymous then?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay.
I have two for most platforms. I've got one for the business, one for me.
Okay.
Because I want to pin things too. I want to look at pretty pictures and houses, and those aren't appropriate for my audience.
Okay.
A little bit. My whole wedding was on Pinterest.
Could you get into exactly how best to start setting up the...
I don't get into how best to start each individual one, but this is more to tell you which one to pick.
There is a strategy, would you imagine?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will get into what your strategy should be for whichever platform you pick. And so this is telling you the target market so you know which one to pick to get started on.
I see, okay.
And then it goes into strategy, and you do have to have a specific strategy for each one. They'll have different strategies, but you still need to do you can have an overall strategy, then one for each platform.
So you're gonna do a 102 course?
That's up to Melissa. We go to YouTube. YouTube has 1 billion users. They are the second largest search engine behind Google, who owns them. 128.2 million monthly users. 58% of all online adults are on here. 48% of adults 65 and older are using YouTube, which is a really big surprise to some people. 18 to 35 is the largest user base. YouTube has more users, 18 to 35, than cable TV. They are on here all day, every day, watching music, shows, weird shows people have made up, how-to videos, everything under the sun. If you need to know how to do something, go to YouTube, and it'll show you how to do it. My husband doesn't wear ties very often, so neither of us can really remember how to tie the double Windsor that he likes. So I go on YouTube about 3 times a year and walk through how to tie a tie. But YouTube is video is really powerful, especially in 2015. We're going to see a lot more video. We're visual. We really like visual. It's why Pinterest and Instagram are really popular, because they're all pictures. And YouTube's really popular because it's visual. It's really popular because it's visual. So people want to watch videos. Business owners are getting huge gains, not only through search engine optimization, but just by being watched. There is doing how-to videos. Putting up a how-to video, or a little, keep it under 3 minutes for the most part, unless you're doing a show. But you want to do little tips and tricks that play into your industry and put them onto YouTube. You'll get a lot of exposure, a lot of traffic. And this is only going to get bigger.
Your pitch?
Yeah, embed it into my strategy is any video I put on YouTube, I embed it into my blog posts. And especially like right now, I do on Wednesday mornings, I do a weekly hangout with another marketing person that I collaborate with, but they're all through his YouTube channel, so I don't get any benefit out of that. It's his show, it was his idea, so it's all through his YouTube. So how I get benefit out of it is I embed his videos into my blog so that I can promote them too and get traffic out of it, because I'm on the video every week for 15 minutes too. So that it's another way when you're doing collaboration.
Embedding an email blast.
It depends on your audience and what their open rate is. It depends on if they're going to watch it in the video or not, or if you might want to send them to your blog instead.
Do you do MailChimp?
Not personally. I use Infusionsoft.
Infusionsoft?
Infusionsoft.
Is that an email?
It is an inbound internet marketing collaborative software. It does all kinds of things. Infusionsoft. Look it up on a incognito tab, because otherwise you'll get remarketed for the ads. Yes.
So when you're saying YouTube, like YouTube video in an email,
yeah,
are you talking about actually embedding it, or putting a link to it? You can't embed it.
Videos in email.
You can only put links to YouTube video.
You can do links, or you can do like static images in the email, but
that's what I was going to recommend.
Then you link to with the little.
Very, very far behind the times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who you use.
And it's live, and
it's just an image, but people can click on it. If it's got a play button on there, they'll think it's a video, but then it'll link to the page.
And you can just use any kind of email program for that?
Some of them allow it, some of them don't. They're starting to change, but because the open rates are not always that big for email. You may want to just send them to a blog article, so you.
Well, like for instance, I'm thinking of having a product that probably people will only use one time. Okay, so I would have to have fresh people to come through. So if I were to, for instance, get a mailing list of people who are interested in what my product is, and I blast it out with the embed, that seems to be a good way to try to market.
It could. Well, you want to use the email marketing not for. It depends on what the video is. So you want to use email marketing. Well, you don't see. I wouldn't recommend putting the pitch in the email marketing. I would recommend having something that would bring them to either the website or something, or a landing page on the website for lead generation.
But does that have an extra step that they have to take in order to?
Yeah, but you want to get them on your website, because they're not going to buy from the email.
Yeah, but then you get a pitch, then they'll take to the web. Wow, yeah, I want that.
Well,
Because if they go to the website, then they may go away. And you're not able to pitch them.
Yeah, but if you
Well,
take
no,
them directly to a landing page that has a product that you're
yeah,
offering.
that's where the pitch
wouldn't
is.
take them to your homepage.
It's an will you use
Yeah,
it
but
for an
it-
informational video on the email? It's more of it's an informational video on the email that sends them to the landing page on your website, which is that would be a whole another class on landing pages and lead generation. But you send them to there where that's got the pitch to it, because you need to get them. Because if I saw it in the email, I'm going to half read it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So if the pitch is actually there, I'm not going to listen to the pitch. I can't tell you how many newsletters I'm on
Yeah, but if
where
it's
I wanted
a million.
I wanted the education, and I never even open the ones that have the pitch in it.
Think of it this way too, it's a lot easier for me to click delete on the email
Right.
than if once I'm on your site and I see all sorts of other stuff you have.
Yeah.
Well, you have
I
to
might be
remember-
more attracted, so.
But then you have to actually, you have to remember that direct marketing is an opt-in situation, whereas, social media is a totally different animal. So what she's presenting tonight isn't about a direct marketing tactic, like you're talking about.
Right.
It's-
Yeah,
but
sorry,
that-
I got it.
No,
That's
it's
okay.
okay, but the two are
Yeah,
different.
apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you ever helped a client hire a YouTube celebrity or someone with a lot of followers to promote their products or anything like
I
that?
haven't personally.
Okay.
It depends on who they are. Like, again, it goes to who their target market is.
Yeah.
So even just because they're popular doesn't mean that their audience is who you're trying to reach. So it all, it's kind of, unfortunately, marketing, a lot of it is, it depends. It depends on what your product is. It depends on who your target audience is. It depends on who you're trying to have help you. And if they're even interested in helping you, that kind of stuff. So that's not my specialty. My specialty is more local businesses. Yes.
Which brings me to a question about another class is doing research. Because I know on Facebook, as I played around with it, you can do research to find out, like, people who want might want your goods or services or might want to follow you. There's a way to research. So my question is, have you ever thought about teaching a class on doing that kind of marketing research, using Facebook?
I have actually done a market research class for the Community Action CAP. I forgot what they stood for. Community Action Partnership. They've got a micro business class they put on. I have done a Facebook market research class in that one, specifically using Facebook for market research, because you'd be amazed at how much information people put online for free. You can find out anything you need to know. So now that we've gone through the top 7, it's kind of that now what? You've got to develop your strategy. And you've got to have one for each platform. You can use similar content. You can repurpose your content, but you've got to change how you utilize it. So Facebook, you can have a longer, shorter post, picture, link. On Twitter, you've got 140 characters. You also have to take into consideration if you want a link, you've got link characters, so you want to have a shortened link so you use up as little as possible. But then you also want to leave some space for if somebody wants to retweet you or reply, you don't want to cut off your link, which is usually at the end. So you have to take that into consideration. If you use all 140 characters, something gets lost in the translation if you get retweeted, or because if I posted, hey, check me out on social media, and Melissa went to retweet mine, it adds my URL at Provaro Marketing in there. So if I don't leave enough space for even my own handle, then something gets lost in the retweet. So you have to take that into consideration in your Twitter strategy, whereas Facebook, technically you have as much, up to 5,000 characters or something ridiculous. So it's rarely appropriate to take all 5,000 characters.
Well, and with Facebook.
And it's a lot of work.
Then you can delete it once.
Yeah, and you can edit it, and if you have a typo, you can fix it. Whereas you've got, Instagram is all pictures, so what hashtags are you going to use there? So you can repurpose the same content, but it has to be posted differently on each platform that you're on. So that you got to take that into consideration with part of your strategy. And then once you come up with kind of your strategy, then you create a content editorial calendar. So on Monday, I'm going to post you start off with just topics. Monday, I'm going to post about topic A. Tuesday, I'm going to post about topic B. So you come up with topics, you kind of come up with a theme, and you can absolutely use a theme. Every Friday is Fun Facts Friday. You can absolutely utilize that and post the same type of content on, every Monday, every Tuesday. But so you want to start with topic before you even go looking for content. Melissa.
Just shameless plug here. That's kind of the idea that I had behind doing these Friday things, like the content related stuff, where you can actually devote, a few hours to, coming in here and getting ideas for like what to actually set up and schedule for like the rest of the week, like your entire week. So that's something I've always been meaning to do.
And you can do this. A lot of the business owners, I know, I'm a business owner, you're a business owners, we're busy. One, honor your calendar, always honor your calendar, and two, schedule time, schedule an hour a week, a couple hours once a month. You can knock out majority of this in one sitting for the month. You can come up with your topics. You can find some content or make notes for yourself of what content you're going to create for certain days. But you can do it once a week. With scheduling tools, you do not need to be posting fresh content on a daily basis. Responding, however, and interacting, you definitely need to do that on the fly as it's happening. But your content strategy you can totally plan out in advance and save yourself a ton of time, headache, agony, and make sure you get it done on a consistent schedule.
How about Craigslist? Any way to interact with Craigslist?
No, Craigslist is a whole other animal. It's not social media, no.
Okay.
Unless you're looking to hook up.
Is there anything in the future that they would?
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
So here's a really basic example of a content calendar where you've got on Monday, Facebook, I'm doing this topic, Twitter, I'm doing this topic, Tuesday, and so that you know what you're doing for the entire month. And it doesn't mean this is not set in stone, but this is a great tool to use, and you can create it there's millions of Google social media content calendar, and you'll get a million options. And find one that works for you, and that's the most important part, is find one that works for you and use it. And it's not set in stone. So if you plan out your entire month and Wednesday the 18th rolls around and some news hits, my husband's in tech, some new technology comes out, doesn't mean that we can't post about what happens as the month goes along, but at least this way you have a backup. You've got something going, so you're posting content on a regular basis. And then you can fill it in on what's actually happening in the real world as the month goes along. So now, of course, this is the big problem. What do you post? Where do you find content? What variety do you do? Do you share content that you've seen, or do you download it and repost it as your own? That's kind of a gray area too. And there's sometimes that, like a friend of mine, she's a real estate agent. Probably the same one I mentioned earlier. Someone had sent her a text of a picture. She's like, it's a meme. She's like, I know I've seen it online somewhere, but I have no idea where to find it. So in that aspect, it usually has a little credit in the picture anyway. You can just post that. But if you see on somebody else's Facebook page right there, you're sitting there, and you see what they posted, share it. Do not download it and repost it as your own idea. Because they're probably watching you too, and they're going to see that.
Well, especially if it's a brand.
Especially if it's a brand, yeah. And then the 70-20-10 rule, which I'll cover that a little bit more in depth. 70% brand education, informing people, 20% sharing other content and other interactions, 10% promotion. This is the percentage of what your content should be. So where do you get content? This is a small splattering of where you can find content. And it will take forever. Yes.
Reddit's not on there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
right
I
there.
see. Found the button.
I
was looking for a blue icon. I'm like, hey, wait a second.
I even got WIMP on here.
RSS is
She does have
RSS is on there, but no Feedly.
I had a vector file of like 172 icons. But I mean, there's a huge plethora of information. It's an information overload. And so it would take way too much time to go to individual sites, do a search for something relative to you. Like, this is way too overwhelming, and this is dropping the bucket with what's out there.
There's international sites too, right? There's international
Yeah, there's international, there's national, there's local, there's, you can, go to the Press Democrat for as great as they are. For local content and information. So one of the tools that I talk about in a minute will go over on a really great way for content curation, at least for content ideas, content generating for posting, things like that, that takes you like no time at all once you set it up. So the 70-20-10 rule is really, really important, in my opinion. Majority of what you post should be added value to your users. What is in it for them? It's all about them. I tell clients day in and day out, I don't care what you want to post, it's all about what they want. What do your end users want to know? What do they want to know? What do they want to do? What do they want to learn? So added value, education's big. That's where you're setting yourself up as the expert. Teaching them what they need to know. You want to teach them so much they go, screw this, I'm going to hire you. It's also branding. Teaching people about what do you do? What are you? Especially if your name doesn't easily say what you do. Company culture. We are human. We live in community. We want to be part of a community. And so you utilize social media as the community. Put pictures of your dog and your family and your employees and talk about how long your employees have worked for you. Talk about your Christmas party, their family picnic you do in the summer, the softball team. Like, you want to put the human element in it because we don't do business with businesses. People do business with people who happen to own businesses. So you want to have that element in there. So me posting about the blueberry scones I made for breakfast on my business Instagram, totally appropriate because it's something that I did, it fits in on a Saturday morning. That's what I'm doing as part of my business. It goes into the company culture. I like to bake. Humor, too. Humor, show your sense of humor. Obviously, depending on who your audience is, probably should keep it clean-ish. Stay away from religion and politics. But put some of your humor in there. For a while, I used to do brain teasers every Friday because I like them. I thought they were fun. And so that was one of the posts that I would do is brain teasers every Friday. So it's part of my personality, showing it through the business. So then, because you want to attract customers that are like you, that you enjoy working with them. How many times do you have a client where every time their phone number shows up, you're like, oh, I wish I could lose you. So you don't want to attract, so by putting your personality through here, you're going to attract like-minded people and people you enjoy working with, and then that makes the reason we went into business all that much more enjoyable. Did you have a question?
Yeah. How loaded is the word social good?
Social good? What do you mean by how loaded is it?
In other words, if you use, let's say you were to use that phrase in promoting your brand, is it political or is it loaded, the word itself?
I don't think so. I mean, if you're actually doing good social work in your community, absolutely promote that. I mean, I'm part of a Rotary Club. I do service projects every month. I don't do a great job about promoting it through my company, but I do. I promote that I'm doing community service. Absolutely. Because again, we're a community. We want to see that we're taking care of each other and that we're part of the community. We're not just here to make money. We're individuals that live and work and take care of it. So I don't know, I don't necessarily use that term, but in my vision statement for where I'm going to be in 3 to 5 years absolutely has in there that we empower our employees to donate to the charities of their choice.
Right.
So it's built into the vision of my company. So I would absolutely.
Politics, I'm just wondering.
Well, politics, Republican, Democrat, stay out of that.
Yeah,
the Republican Democrat side.
Kind of trigger notions. I'm just wondering.
I don't think social good really does. Okay. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Well, there's a difference between politics and civics.
Yeah.
It bleeds over. I'm just trying to keep politics out of it.
Literally, the people who are elected in office, stay out of that conversation on your business side.
I see.
I also if you mix business and pleasure, business and personal on your personal side, like your Facebook page,
right.
I even recommend, I have very strong political views, and you will almost never see me comment on anything.
Right.
And I've got a couple of people who are complete opposite of me that I'm itching to comment.
I'm trying to keep that totally off.
Totally off.
Yeah.
To keep it don't even get in the conversation. Religion and politics.
Right.
Just leave it alone.
So we're talking social.
I'm talking like community service, me doing community service in my Rotary Club, that kind of stuff. Volunteering. If you go donate, volunteer at the Redwood Food Bank, things like that, absolutely utilize them.
So how does this apply to LinkedIn? Because I don't see humor on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's a lot of just content.
So is that
and-
to say, is the same rule applies, or how does it, about the different?
Well, you still want to show your company culture. So, and that's where I include the humor, because it humanizes you. So if you're not seeing a lot, LinkedIn is more business focused. And so a lot of the content you see there is business focused. There's no reason, it doesn't mean you can't throw some humor in there. You're the one that's going to stand all business. Here's a funny joke.
Like, why do you want to work for us, and why do you want to partner with us? That's, you know, the more of what it's used for.
But there's no reason you can't. Yeah.
Right.
And that it's differentiating yourself on the platform and showing who you really are and who your company is.
I don't want to get off track here, but Meetup, for example. Now, some people talk about that as being not for profit, but there's a lot of meetup groups out there that they're promoting their business.
Mhm.
They're promoting a business. I mean,
It depends. I've got a girlfriend who runs a nonprofit. She's got a meetup, and so it's not a nonprofit. I think it's not for profit. So, but I mean, it's just I honestly I use Meetup, like it shows up in my email. The groups I respond to, or that I subscribe to, I don't use it for my business, so I'm probably not the best person to answer that one.
I just have a quick question. Do you think that, like I'm a huge fan of George Takei on Facebook.
Yep.
Right? I mean, because
He's hilarious.
He's like mastered the 70-20, only he's like 80% humor, 10%
Yeah.
what's fun for him. But do you think, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but man, I don't really want to see too many more funny videos because I've already seen so many and I've got work to do. And they're getting a little old, and the top 10 list where you get one and you've got to, click to the next one and the next one and the next one. I mean, do you think that time is, that people are getting short-tempered about that and not interested in that because there's just so much stuff happening?
Sadly, no.
Okay, and is there a point where a business can do too much of that without pissing people off?
I don't know if it pissed people off. They would hide you or unfollow you if you did too much of it. So you've got to have a good mix of what you're posting. So you can absolutely have some of that, but if you are a professional business, I would say, err on the side of caution. Do more on the educational expert side than that, and then throw in the humor sprinkled in.
So like we did, one of the most successful campaigns we did was we did a meme contest for IC Awareness Month. And we just invited patients to submit memes. And it was great. I mean, the traffic was wonderful, the educational opportunity was wonderful. And people embraced it because they were doing it. But for the most part, we don't use a lot of humor except at that point in time.
Yeah. So and again, you use discretion. Use it based on what your business is. You use your discretion. Nobody knows your business better than you do. Like the clients that I work with, I have to learn their business, their industry, their clients. But nobody knows it better than you. So use your own discretion on what you think is appropriate for your audience, for what your message is, that kind of stuff. And it's all trial. A lot of it is trial and error until you kind of dial in what works and what doesn't work. And even then, everybody changes the rules, and you have to do trial and error all over again. It's just sadly the name of the game with social media. Yes.
I just have a quick question. How often do you recommend posting blogs, and also do you recommend these formula blogs as well?
What was the second half of your question?
Oh, do you recommend these formula blogs as well?
The-
The 70, 20.
Oh, no, the blog should be, blog should almost never be an actual full promotion blog. You can have a promotion buried into it, but your blogs really should be all educational and it's setting yourself up as the expert. Blogging, minimum once a week, maximum once a day. But there's a lot of creative ways you can do that. Like I said, videos, 2-3 minute videos is a blog post. You can do a blog post could be Tuesday tip and it's a sentence. So there's you can be creative and have a lot of variety to get that kind of quantity. And if you're on WordPress, you can do a whole bunch and schedule them out and they just auto post. So you're not doing it every day.
And a tip for that would be you limit your word count, because if you have some more value to offer that's going to require you to go over 500 words, you're definitely going to want to make sure to make it more of a series versus an
Yeah,
open
500
blog.
words is about the max. So yeah, if you've got a really long content, definitely do a series. Now you've got 3 or 4 blogs done. So the 20% is sharing others' content. So interacting, who are the business owners that you're friends with that are in your contact sphere? Like Danielle and I, our contact sphere, we share an office. She's a graphic designer, I'm marketing. I've got another graphic designer, Chelsea, that I work with. Share their content. I technically offer graphic design, and I turn around and hand it off to the two of them. So sharing their posts absolutely fits into my target market, to my brand, because they're people that I trust and I want to promote them. So 20% is sharing other people's content. Go to other business pages. Share what they're posting. Share their blog posts. Share their videos. Things like that.
That's one of the questions I
yeah.
had about was sharing. So one of the things we ask ourselves a lot is, as web designers, is if we see a really cool article that we want to share on our blog, but then we also want to be the experts on something as well.
Right.
So how detrimental is that to share content that people go, well, if you're not the expert on this and you're sharing this, why would I hire you? Do you know what I'm saying? I think we're struggling with that.
Yeah, it's having that good mix. So again, that's where it's only 20%. The other 70% is you writing it. And so I know another marketing person where he sits there and reads the blog for ideas, but he sketches out then his own ideas based on what's being written about and writes his own articles. But then also sharing the cool articles, it shows that you are the expert, and it shows that you are staying on top of your field. Because if you're reading every day, we're all reading blog articles every day. I'm guessing. I should hope that we're all reading blog articles. That's how, especially us in the media in the web world. That's where all the content is. That's how we stay on top of the changes and what's going on. I mean, Google changes their algorithm every single day. Like I'm constantly reading stuff like that.
So you don't think that it's a ding to you?
I don't think so, because I view it as a positive that you are showing that you are reading current news in your industry and staying on top of it, which is keeping you as the expert. Or if you're not quite the expert yet, you're doing the education and sharing it to people. You're doing the education to better yourself to become even more of an expert. And so that you're a bigger benefit because, and I use it all the time. I read blog articles all the time on social media and SEO. It's a benefit because I keep on top of this so you don't have to. And that's my opinion is that's what you're doing, how you're setting yourself up is that you're doing it for them so that they don't have to. And then most of the time my clients, I don't know about yours, are like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't have to read anything ever again about Facebook.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's my opinion. Then the promotional, 10% selling. Promoting your products, promoting a giveaway you're doing, promoting a line of service, a special for the month. But this is very small, sprinkled in, because again, social media is not about selling, it's about building the community, and they'll eventually buy from you. But you're still in business to make money, so there's no problem with throwing this out occasionally. You just don't want to do it every single day, all day, and that's all you ever do. So just err on the side of caution when promotional stuff. March Madness is coming up. If you are truly running a March Madness promotion, promote it. Just don't promote it every single day. Yes.
Percentage of, let's just say Twitter, like what tweets or what, social media posts should have a call to action?
Well, call to action is different than promotion.
I know, this is a totally different question. Like a link back to your website.
Yeah. So on Facebook, I say if you can have a call to action, always have a call to action, and that's for engagement. So finish your post with a question to get people to respond. You want to compel them to answer you. On Twitter, with the call to, that's because you have 140 characters. So it all depends on what you're posting, if you can fit it in there, and if you're a call to action to link to somebody else's blog is not going to do you any good. So. But I would say, call to action to drive them to sign up for a newsletter or buy something. I would kind of limit it a little bit.
Yeah. I guess my question is, when it comes to Twitter, is your goal to drive them back to your site and make those sort of conversions, or is your goal to get as many followers as you can?
No, it's all about conversions. I mean, all of social media really in the end is all about converting them into a customer. Or if they already are one, keeping them and having them come back and buy more and spend more money with you. I mean, that's the end goal. It's just the approach to it is slower and a little different. Twitter, because it moves so fast, I mean, the end goal still is get them to the website. And that's why now, like, all the retargeting ads that are coming out. Like, it's so beneficial to utilize retargeting that if they went to your website, you're kind of trying to bring them back over.
Yeah. So I guess it's important for everybody to kind of remind themselves that it's quality over quantity, right? Because if you've got 1,000 Twitter followers and nobody actually visits your site to buy your product or
or just visits it to read articles.
Yeah.
Like they might just visit it and read 5 articles and leave, and then but you want them to come back a month later to read 5 more. So, and it's kind of nurturing, like get them in to read content, you're setting yourself up to be expert, you draw them back in, eventually they go to the sale, but you really do want to get them onto your website to the content that you're generating. If you don't have any content on your website, they're never going to come back to it. And so this all ties together. Social media is just one piece of the online marketing puzzle. It's really just
it all then comes back to
the website.
Content, generating content, and making yourself appear the authority in whatever space you're in.
Yeah, you're providing value. That's the biggest.
Yep, providing value. So we'll get into tools. We'll go fast because it is getting kind of late. What tools can you use? What software is available? Third-party versus native posting. And so third-party versus native posting is, are you going to use a third-party tool like Hootsuite, or are you going to post natively in the platform? This is a very short list of the tools available. There's a really long list of tools actually available. Hootsuite it's buggy, but man, does it work. Hootsuite is the platform, is the scheduling tool that I use. And I've got a picture somewhere in here what one of my dashboards look like. You can listen on it, you can schedule on it, you can follow other people. Like it kind of does a little bit of everything. Other people like Buffer, Sendable, Sprout Social, those are all scheduling. If this, then that. I'm not overly familiar with it, but I know what it is. It's kind of an algorithm. Robin loves it. It's kind of if this happens, then do this, and you're writing these algorithms. TweetDeck is specifically for Twitter. It's a Twitter dashboard. Bundle Posts is my newest favorite toy that I'm playing with. It is a content curation tool. You can set up RSS feeds in it, and you can go in, and I use this for Twitter, and this is how I get 30 posts a day in 5 minutes. Is I preload all the RSS feeds, mine included, that I want to pull content from, and I literally go click, 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 push it out to Hootsuite, and schedule it into Twitter. I also use Bundle Posts for that little bit of content where I'm pulling other people's content for Facebook. I just natively post in Facebook is my preference or recommendation. TweetAdder is culling and cleaning up your Twitter followers and adding more. Iconosquare is statistics for Instagram. Bitly and Google, the shortened Google are URL shorteners. So you can utilize those, especially if you're sharing other people's content. You can utilize the shorteners and see how many people are clicking on it, because you don't have web analytics for somebody else's website. So this is how you can see how your followers are interacting with that particular content. And then every post is another scheduling pull content thing.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
To the IFTTT, so that's basically an engagement modification tool?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
If this, then that. They create an algorithm. Yeah.
It's like Zapier.
Yeah.
Just like Zapier.
Yeah.
And the way I'm using it is if I get an email, my lights flash red 3 times.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can use. It's more. Yeah. It's relatively new. It's not just for social media, but a lot of people are using it for, like, if I post this blog article, then post it onto Facebook.
They also released a new set of apps called Do. So there's like an app that's the Do button. So you press a button and something happens.
Yeah, there's a plethora. There's no shortage of tools and software for social media management and content. Yeah, there's a lot of that. This is one of my Hootsuite dashboards. It's kind of why I do have big monitors at home. But so I've got my main feed, the mentions. So when I've been mentioned, my tweets retweeted, direct messages to me, one of my lists, and then the next one is hashtags that I'm listening for. Hashtag listening is really powerful. Big businesses use it, some of them use it really well. Small businesses don't use it as well as they can. You can listen for a term and it shows up and you can be the first to respond. And so someone's, especially if it's kind of an issue, you can jump in and offer a solution, even if you're not the solution. Say, oh my God, my dog sitter disappeared. I need to find a new one immediately. I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks. You can hop on and go, hey, I recommend this person. So then you're starting the conversation. You're a solution They're now, you can train them to then come to you. Well, do you know about this? What about this? Do you know someone for this? You can train your followers to come to you as the gatekeeper for other businesses, and then because then they start paying attention to you because they like you, and you've helped them out. Then they start reading your content and go, oh, I might need your services too. So there's a lot of benefit to listening. I technically offer website services. Do I do it? Nope, I outsource it. But I follow for it because people post on there, God, I really need to redo my website. Cool, can I make a recommendation? And I can jump in on the conversation. So pay attention. You've got to pay attention to your followers. Even if you don't like numbers, you've got to look at your numbers. You've got to look at the analytics. You absolutely should respond. Always. Comments, inquiries, negative, positive, whatever it is, always respond somehow, some way. Do not ignore your followers because then they'll start ignoring you. Utilize ads, which I don't go over those in this class, but definitely look into the ad platforms. They are beneficial. Like I said, I boost my weekly hangout. $5, a couple thousand people see it. It's targeted to small business owners in Sonoma County. I get more views through it. So it's just better exposure. Like there's a lot of reasons to use the ads. And then best times to post. That's another question I get all the time. When should I post on the platforms? It depends. I'll get into that one, but it depends. I'm going to lose a couple of you. I know it's numbers, but like a photo, link, and status. I can see the average reach, the average engagement for like the last couple days that I did it for this page. So I can see, well, these followers really like pictures and they really like the link. So then I can reformat my content to fit what they're doing. Yes?
What is that?
This is the back-end insights of Facebook. Like the last couple posts that were posted, this was the top engagement type of content. So it kind of tells me that they liked the photo the most, so I'll post more photos, kind of thing. Time of day, it depends. On this particular page, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. are the best times to post for this page. This is different for every page. It all depends on who your follower is, when they're online. I know I've lost some of you. I've got clients who hate this, and that's why I have a job. But you've got to at least look and make a little calendar. On Mondays, post at 9. On Tuesdays, because you can actually, if you go into your Facebook page, you can highlight over each of these blocks for each day of the week, and it'll readjust the bottom time graph for each day of the week.
Did they just start offering added times?
No, it's been there. It's been there for a little while. So for my clients, I literally have a graph. Monday, best times are this. Tuesday, are best times for this. So that the staff that help me, they can just look at that and they know when to schedule it out. You don't have to look at this every day, but I would recommend looking at it every couple, 2-3 months, just to see if it adjusted at when your following grows. If you absolutely hate numbers, I can help you with that. These are a couple different kinds of posts. So they're kind of self-explanatory. Picture versus text with a link. One's on Twitter, one's on Facebook. So it's seeing what people respond to. That's where it kind of goes. This is the whiskey, craft beer bar and whiskey. Pour out the martini in the trash and drink whiskey. It goes right along with their target audience. So it's knowing how that this is where the humor comes in and playing into the audience. If it was a place that specialized in gin, it would probably be the flip, pour the whiskey down the drain. That's sacrilege. Very generic, and this is very generic if you don't want to look at your numbers. Thursday, Friday, 1 p.m. for the most shares, 3 p.m. for the most clicks. Facebook. So if you absolutely don't ever want to look at your numbers, kind of play in this range. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. is just kind of the ballpark. But I do recommend customizing it based on your followers. Whew, there's the end. So top 5 things to do, which is what I promised you. Pick the platform that has your target audience. Create a monthly strategy for each platform. Gather content following the 70-20-10 rule. Save time with tools and automation. The third party versus native. I didn't cover that. Instagram, technically you cannot use third party. You need to do it yourself. Facebook, I recommend native posting. Even if you use a content curation tool, take the content and put it in yourself in Facebook's posting. They prefer it, so you get better reach. Even though the reach is so throttled, it's still better reach when you do it natively versus a third-party tool like Hootsuite or Sendable. All the others, Twitter, Google Plus, and LinkedIn, you can all auto-schedule with Hootsuite all day long. They don't care because it's all chronological. So you save time with tools and automation. Automate as much as you possibly can and utilize the tools. Then pay attention. Pay attention to your followers, interact, be part of the community, and adjust as necessary. Facebook or social media is constantly changing. Each platform is constantly changing, so your strategy today is not going to be the same strategy 6 months from now. And that's just reality, so you've got to be fluid, can't be rigid. Do you guys have any questions? Yes?
When it comes to finding content to share, do you have any really broad stroke big thought on that?
Not really, because it's all on your industry. But that's where I utilize. That's where bundle post. It's relatively new. I'm loving it because I can add in the feeds, and so that way it just makes it I don't have to go to even though I have Feedly and they're all in Feedly for me to read. That's a great one for me to find the content to actually post because I can just go click, 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 outsource. Bundle post. Yes.
What platform did you use for the hashtag listening?
Hootsuite. The professional version is only $10 a month. Can't beat it. And I can have all of my clients on there, all of my own stuff. You can do you can't beat the price, and it covers a lot of the services, and it's inexpensive. And I spend a lot on software. I really like a $10 price tag. Yes.
So I work for a non-profit. So are there rules for are they very similar, or are there some important differences, or you have little experience with it?
There's no difference because it's still a business to some extent. So you still got to utilize social media the way that everybody else does. You want to build a community, have the interaction.
And you just can't ask for money every time.
Yeah.
That's a quick way to figure your donor off.
Right.
Constantly
Yeah.
pushing for money.
But you still want to drive them to whatever action you want them to do, whether it be eventually donate, volunteer their time. You still have an end goal conversion that you achieve, even being a nonprofit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. I have a handout with the top 5 things if you want it. It also has a link to this presentation, which is public, so you can go home and read through it again at your leisure. So if you want the handout, it's up here for you. I also have, if you're interested, if you have more questions, you want a little bit more in depth for your business, I do offer 30-minute consultations, and I'll go through your stuff and point you in the right direction. So that's absolutely complimentary to help you guys out. So I really appreciate you guys coming and listening to me for the last hour and a half. And so that's my give back to you is I'll spend 30 minutes on the phone with you and give you a specific to what your business is and what your current social media looks like and what my recommendations would be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So for anyone